Mayapples are sometimes also called puck's foot or umbrella leaf or toad shades. These are spring ephemeral wildflowers, and they're blooming right about now. It takes quite a while for a plant to produce blooms. It's only the ones that divide in the middle and have two stems that will provide the bloom hidden underneath. Most of the time, and here's another one in bud, most of the time what happens is those that just have single stems will not produce anything at all. And so it's only a limited number of plants in any one colony that will produce these flowers. But this one's a nice established colony, and it's several of them. And so these flowers are usually pollinated by bumblebees, or especially queen bumblebees. And if they are pollinated, they produce a fruit. It's a lemon-like looking thing. It's sometimes called raccoon berry or lemon berry because of that. And the fruit is edible. I've certainly eaten it. It is citrusy, but you got to eat it just the right time when it's ripe, because this plant also possesses many different chemical properties in its leaves and its stems, and even in the unripe fruit, which can be toxic. In fact, there are rumors that this was used for ritual suicide by some tribes. So those chemicals protect the plant from being eaten by most things, although deer do seem to like to eat them. You can see where this one had two leaves and the top of it has been munched off by a deer. You can sometimes see that through the woods where just the tops are all gone from these things. But for most cases, it's poisonous, and so you'd have to be very careful to consume this only the right berry when it's completely ripe. Those same chemical properties have been used in cancer research. I think that there's at least 5 different cancer research projects going on to see about treating different kinds of cancers, 5 different kinds of cancers, with the properties from these spring ephemerals. Now, it's an ephemeral for the most part, because even though it can form beautiful carpets, I don't know if you can appreciate just how many we have here in these colonies that are going right up the bank, up and over. All of these will fade once the trees leaf out, because once it can't get enough sunlight, the leaves, even though they're broad to catch as much sunlight as comes through, will die back. They senesce, and the root will still stay alive, but it'll grow back, but it won't come back up. Those plants that are pollinated, however, will hold on to their leaves a lot longer, because they have to in order to produce a fruit. Now, that means, though, that once the fruit is produced, it is edible, and in fact, the main thing that does eat it are box turtles. Box turtles will come down, and like a little bulldozer, they'll knock the plant down, eat the berry, and then they go off and poop off and start another colony. But most of the growth is actually vegetative. So each plant sends out little suckers until it forms a big patch of what, for all practical purposes, is the exact same plant. They're all clones. And that's the main way that Mayapples reproduce and form these huge colonies, is vegetatively. So this is a wonderful little plant that is, has a lot of properties to it. It's very common in our woodlands, forming these beautiful carpets of umbrellas all through the woods. And again, a great plant that seems to come back. Once one plant is established, it can hold on quite a bit. And it's something that, if you have a deep shady woods, you may want to consider to at least provide a springtime carpet. Although, again, remembering that most of the plants die back after not producing berries. Mayapples, puck's foot, umbrella leaf, lemonberry, raccoonberry. By whatever name it is one of our beautiful spring ephemerals with the apple-like blossom, thus the mayapple name, and one which we should value in our woodlands, especially this time of year, where if you pull the leaves apart, you have the nice surprise underneath of a beautiful apple-like blossom. Mayapples in the spring woods. This is late April in Northern Virginia.